Amazing. Amazing start. It feels like we are back home, back to Godhead. So, welcome back to headquarters, everyone. So it was good, visiting different homes and finally coming back to our original home.
Again in Damodar month we will do Prabhuji.
We'll do that, yeah.
Yeah, in Damodar.
Yeah.
Then my students
Yeah.
Bhagavad Gita students
Yeah, I saw that.
నేను అక్కడ హెల్ప్ చేస్తున్నా మీరు వెళ్తున్నారు అన్ని రంగులు ఉంది కదా ఇంకా అందుకని వచ్చి
అయిపోయిన తర్వాత వచ్చాం
అసలు మేము 25 minutes వెయిట్ చేయం నేను రావడానికి ఎక్కడో
క్లాప్స్ ఫర్ హూ డిడ్ సర్వీస్
అలా అందరు చేశారు
Yeah. So we're going to talk about that. Yeah.
మీతో మాట్లాడండి
Arjun also helped. Arjun also helped. Right, Arjun? First Holi, yeah? Wow, nice. అవునా ఎప్పుడు వెళ్ళదా ఇలా బిగ్ ఈవెంట్ ఎప్పుడు వెళ్ళదు
అసలు నేనైతే పార్క్ లోకి రావడం నిన్నే ఫస్ట్ టైం ఎప్పుడు రాలేదు
So yeah, it was good to see all of you. I met Jyotirmai's family, Kalpana and her daughter, Sudhakar and family. Basu was there; he was helping. Sudhakar's family, they were helping. Yeah. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. Yes, the entire festival was conducted by ISKCON.
So we were there, but I couldn't see anybody. I only see Rajesh Prabhu.
Oh, you came?
Yeah, Rajesh Prabhu.
No, I saw Rajesh family.
Yeah, I saw that the color section is only.
Oh, you came?
Yeah.
I was thinking you are the only one who we missed you.
I think there were so many people.
Did you see them?
I think very good shot because so many people were there. They could come over there.
You should always come in the back.
No, I did.
Don't stand in the line. If it is an ISKCON event, you don't have to stand in the line.
Okay.
You get that privilege by attending these classes.
I saw the Rajesh Prabhu, but I couldn't see anybody there. I thought, okay, everybody was there.
Rajesh, his daughter.
Yeah, his daughter, yeah.
Yeah, everybody, they help.
Yeah, they were there from the morning. Right?
Wife was not there, right?
No, she was there.
She was there?
She was there. She was there.
Okay. Oh, she wasn't with her. Oh, probably. Sahana is their daughter.
Yes.
Oh yeah, they're here.
There they are.
Madhuri and her husband. And her husband, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I saw them.
I wanted to check if it is awkward, otherwise I opened. Very awkward.
Mine is a strawberry thing
Yeah.
that has been
Awkward?
Mataji, mommy also.
Awkward?
లక్కీగా తను దొరికింది ఎవరున్నారని బోటలు తీసుకెళ్ళడానికి అంత ఖాళీగా అయిపోయింది తను వచ్చి లక్కీగా పలుకులు ఇచ్చింది అమ్మయ్య కృష్ణయ్య నాకు కనిపించావు అనుకున్నాను
So you have them? Yeah.
Take it from
Yeah.
Don't you please give it.
No, you give.
No, no, no.
No. You give it, Prabhu.
No, no,
No, you give it. Very well. Very well. Hare Krishna. How are you? Rajesh is here.
Yeah, he's fine.
He's marking. Okay.
Yeah, we can ask if anybody wants.
Yeah, it's full.
The better party. Yeah. No, we can back it down. Oh, here. Beside this.
So Shashank, Prashant and Madhuri, who are online, we are settling down. A lot of people are here. You are missing the fun.
Yeah, I'm seeing the other cameras, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll definitely make it next week. Don't want to miss the fun.
Yeah. We were glorifying you both actually. You both Prashant was frying pakodas and Madhuri was selling them.
Yeah, French fries, but I'll take pakodas as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody in the background, I just put in the background.
So you didn't know that it was the ISKCON event?
I know you said other than it's an ISKCON event. I thought the stalls are usually presented by the people who wanted to sell and make money. That's what I thought.
Yeah, no.
But I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's the ISKCON.
We were all there. Oh, you didn't know it was ISKCON event?
Stalls, yeah.
Very cultural center. Yeah.
So finally, he saw you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We came on at 2:30.
Okay.
So that till 4:30, 4:05.
Okay.
So this Rajesh Prabhu and
Probably you were busy dancing.
Oh,
Hare Krishna, Rajesh. Yeah, please come.
we insured the park from his side, we didn't know.
Yeah.
No, when I
Good. అందరూ పాంపర్ చేస్తున్నారు బేబీ.
the parking was crazy yesterday.
Yeah.
We
Oh.
parked somewhere there and walked for 40 minutes.
Yeah. I think it was backed all the way up to 40th Street exit. Yeah. So my evening batch Bhagavad Gita class student. So he comes from 40th Street. So he was telling it's backed up all the way until 40th Street. So he went back and then parked somewhere and then walked by.
So we parked in the 40th Street and walked all the way to Marymount Park.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people.
Almost 1 mile.
Prabhu, I had one question to ask. Somebody got a dessert.
Yeah.
Is that offered?
Yeah.
Support girl.
Black is
It will come from home. That is all. And Prabhu, you can announce that we are ready for the kids to go up and start.
Okay.
Start with the chapter.
Yeah.
Yes. they-
Sahana.
Come on.
No, one second. Let's glorify these kids also, and then I'll send them upstairs. So yesterday, Samit and Yashita, they were also helping. I know every week they come and they come to the temple. Every Tuesday they come to the temple with their family, and then they serve. They serve in the kitchen. Yesterday also they were helping a lot. Yeah, very good. And Sahana, the big Sahana, she was also helping in the pizza section. Yeah. Are you? Yeah. Very good, amazing kids. See, you could do many things, right?
Even I forgot one name.
Yeah. What's her name? Vidya, right? Vidya. Yeah, she'll be ready next year.
Anika also helped in pizza.
You helped in the pizza?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't see you. I thought you were busy dancing. Very good. Very good. Hmm? You made?
I made toppings.
You prepared? Yeah. Oh, very good. Very good. Did you like that? Did you eat them? Okay. Good, good. Yeah. So Veda Samhita will be ready next year. Yeah. Amazing. Most of the people, you all helped yesterday. So this is what we discussed last week, right? Akarma, karma, akarma, vikarma. So akarma is action that has no reaction. And whatever you all did yesterday, helping in the festival, it's not a regular mundane activity. It's a devotional activity. It's akarma. It has no reaction.
It had reaction. Made me angry.
You had reaction. You must have felt blissful, right? You must have felt blissful. That's the reaction. You must have felt blissful. And we also discussed, right? Manava Seva, Madhava Seva. So should we do only Madhava Seva and then ignore Manava Seva? Or should we do only Manava Seva and ignore Madhava Seva? Or should we do both? Should we not do anything at all? So there is this story, right? From Mahabharata. Akshay Patra story.
Yeah.
How many of you know Akshay Patra story? Yeah. So do you know how Pandavas got Akshay Patra?
Oh, Sri Krishna gave, right?
No.
I don't know from where they got.
It's Parashurama. He gives that to Draupadi.
No, not Parashurama. Okay, so I'll tell you the story. The story is in connection with what we discussed, that karma, akarma, vikarma, especially akarma part. If we do Madhava Seva, Manava Seva is automatically taken care. So Jyotirmai's husband, he summarized nicely, right? Karma is a byproduct of akarma. If we do akarma, so who said that? You said that?
No.
Jyotirmai. Yeah. So when Pandavas were in exile in Vanavasa, so Yudhishthira Maharaj, he is a very noble king. He is very charitable. So even when he was in exile in the forest, he wanted to do some charity to Brahmanas. He wanted to donate some things to Brahmanas. But when they were in exile, they didn't have anything, right? So then they were praying to Krishna, they were praying to all the demigods. And then Surya Bhagavan, being impressed with Yudhishthira's sincere desire to do charity, even when he was in the forest, when he did not have anything, he was in the charitable mode. So then Surya Bhagavan gives Akshay Patra. So he gives Akshay Patra to Pandavas. But there is a clause, there's a condition. The way that Akshay Patra works is, it works only until afternoon, until the meal time. After all the Pandavas and Draupadi, everyone has taken their meals, then no more food is produced from that Akshay Patra. Until that time, unlimited amount of food is produced. So even if 1,000 people come, unexpected, so they can serve. That was the power of Akshay Patra. That's why it is called Akshaya. Akshaya means no ending, no end. So then, so in the afternoon, once everyone eats, even after Draupadi eats the meal, then they wash the Akshay Patra and put it aside. Then no more food is produced. Now back in Hastinapura, one day, Durvasa Muni visits Duryodhana. And Duryodhana, he gives a lot of wealth to the Durvasa Muni to please him. Otherwise, Durvasa Muni, he gets very angry very easily, right? He gets angry very easily and he gets pleased also very easily. So Duryodhana wanted to make him happy. So he gives a lot of wealth to Durvasa Muni and makes him happy. And then he also tells Durvasa Muni that Pandavas are in Vanavasa, go and visit them, but go in the afternoon. So very cleverly he tells, he wanted to put them in trouble. So he tells Durvasa Muni to go in the afternoon, around 12 o'clock or something. So Durvasa Muni, not knowing the story behind, he goes along with 1,000 disciples of him, goes to see Pandavas in the forest. And then Durvasa Muni tells that today all of us have come to take your atidhyam, to take your hospitality and eat your food here. Just like all of us came here to eat food at Vipul and Shitu's home. So then Durvasa Muni tells, all right, you prepare the food, we'll go and take a bath in the river and come back. So all of them, they go to the river and come, and after some time, they come back. But meanwhile, Draupadi is thinking, all of us have eaten food today, and even I have eaten, and I have washed the Akshay Patra, and no more food can be produced now. What to do? And if we don't serve food to the Durvasa Muni, he will get very angry and he will curse us, and that will have dire consequences. Then Krishna always protects his devotees, right? Yoga Kshemam Vahamyaham. In Bhagavad Gita, there is a shloka, Ananyas Chintayanto Mam Ejana Paryupasate Tesham Nityabhiyuktanam Yoga Kshemam Vahamyaham. Krishna says, I provide what my devotees lack. I provide what my devotees lack, and I preserve what my devotees have. So Krishna tells that in Bhagavad Gita, Yoga Kshemam Vahamyaham. That's the LIC tagline. Yeah, Yoga Kshemam Vahamyaham. They got it from Bhagavad Gita. So then Krishna comes. While Durvasa Muni and party, they are taking bath in the river, Krishna comes. And Krishna asks Draupadi, can you offer me something? And then Draupadi says, no, Krishna, everything is finished. We all have finished our meal today, and Akshay Patra cannot produce anything now. And Krishna says, no, go and check. There might be something. And then Draupadi goes and checks, and there will be one grain. And Krishna takes that grain. He eats, he is satisfied, he is completely satisfied. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells another shloka, chapter 9, shloka 26, 9.26. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhaktipakrutam ashnami prayatatmana. Even if you offer water, leaf, fruit, I will take. Krishna says simple things like water, fruit, leaf. Even if you offer those simple things, I will accept it. Because Krishna is only looking for devotion in those ingredients. He's not looking for those offerings actually, because he's fully opulent. We discussed the 6 opulences of Krishna. He's fully opulent. He does not need the offerings that we are offering. The only ingredient Krishna is looking for in the offerings is love and devotion. So according to that shloka, so Krishna accepts that one small grain that Draupadi offers, because she's offering with love and devotion. And Krishna is fully satisfied. And as soon as Krishna is satisfied, Durvasa Muni and all other 1,000 disciples, they are also completely satisfied. They feel very full actually. They feel neck full. Bhakta, yeah. They feel neck full, and then after finishing the bath, they come home, and then they say that, and Draupadi says, yes, the food is ready. I'm ready to serve now. And Durvasa Muni and party says, no, we are already very full. We cannot eat anything. So this story tells that if we serve Krishna, then everyone is happy. Everyone is happy. So in chapter 3 of Bhagavad Gita, which we will discuss after a couple of months, there is a series of shlokas where Krishna describes the significance of sacrifices, the fire sacrifices especially. And Krishna tells how food is produced. So food is produced by performing sacrifices. When you perform fire sacrifices, Vishnu is pleased, because the fire is nothing but Vishnu. It is the mouth of Lord Vishnu. When you are doing homam, fire sacrifice, Yeah, Parjanyat Annasambhava. So when you're offering oblations into the homam, in the fire, you're actually offering them to Lord Vishnu. And when Lord Vishnu is pleased, then the rains will occur. When the rains occur, the crops will occur. And we get grains. And then we get food. So if you satisfy Krishna or Vishnu, then everyone is satisfied. It doesn't mean that we should not do Manava Seva at all. We have to. And look at ISKCON. They have a biggest project, Akshay Patra. They named their project, after this story, Akshay Patra. So they are distributing in India and several countries across the world. They are distributing millions of plates every day. Yeah, unlimited amount of food. It started in Bangalore. Yeah, it started in Bangalore. It's happening in many other places. Yeah, I think yesterday, the Holi festival, there is a booth, Akshay Patra booth. Yeah, Akshay Patra booth. Kids were wearing Akshay Patra t-shirts. Yeah. So, Seattle doesn't have the food distribution, but there is a chapter, Akshay Patra chapter is there, where they are primarily focusing on raising funds. Yeah. Yeah. So, okay, kids, now you can go. So starting from today, Mataji is starting a new program called Bala Gokula. It's education for kids, education and entertainment for kids. Yeah.
We're gonna have 5.
Yeah. Want to go upstairs?
Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah, during the kirtan in the beginning, I saw Sahana.
Yeah.
So the small Sahana, not you. So she was completely absorbed. She was nicely clapping and then looking at Krishna's pictures, focusing completely. Very nice. Okay, so let's get started. So what did we discuss last week?
I don't.
Background. Yeah. Okay.
Dynasty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And how many senas that Kauravas and Pandavas?
Chovani Senas. Yeah. Good. You all remember these technical terms. Akshoini. Okay. 11 and 7. Yeah. So last week I said 5, right? Yeah. 7. 11 and 7. 11 and 7. Yeah. So Duryodhana was expecting only half Akshoni. Because Pandavas are 5, Kauravas are 100. So if Kauravas bring 11 Akshoni Senas, how many Akshoni Senas Pandavas would bring? So according to Duryodhana's calculations, it was only half Akshoni Senas. 100 multiplied by 5 divided by 11. That will be 0.5. So that was his calculation. But he was surprised and shocked to see Pandavas bringing 7 Akshoni Senas. Yeah.
Kirtan is over already.
Kirtan was over. Yeah. In the end, we can do chanting. Yeah. So this is how we will do every week. In the beginning, Kirtan, and then end with chanting. Yeah. Okay. So what else? Sudhakar was seriously referring to the notes, but he couldn't find anything.
No, I did not bring phone last week.
Okay.
Anyway, Jyoti is there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She already answered. She already said one point. Yeah.
I think we discussed the hierarchy.
Yeah. The background of Bhagavad Gita, basically, how it all started. Yeah. Okay. So we concluded that's last week's session by saying that Dhritarashtra was speaking. He was asking Sanjaya, what did my sons and sons of Pandu do on the battlefield of Kurukshetra? Because he was blind and he was taking help of Sanjaya, who is his secretary. And Sanjaya was able to see things from a remote place. He got a boon from Vyasadeva, his guru. And he was able to see and hear everything from remote place. And then we can do two things actually. One is either we can finish the summary of these chapters. I think we ended, we stopped at 6 or 7. Yeah. Okay. So let's quickly do a summary of these chapters, and then we can start discussing with chapter 1 shlokas.
Start with the Bhagavad Gita already, like the book.
Yeah. I did not upload. I'll send it. Yeah. Shashank, what were you saying?
Did we start with the chapters in the book already?
No, not yet. Not yet.
Oh, okay. I thought I missed that.
Yeah. That was a concluding part for background of Bhagavad Gita. We were discussing background of Bhagavad Gita, and we discussed how Bhagavad Gita all started. And then the concluding part was the battle is ready, all the armies are assembled, and then Dhritarashtra inquired what's happening on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Yeah.
When do you plan to actually begin with the book?
No, not yet, Shashank. Yeah.
Not yet, right?
Not yet. Yeah. Chestnut. Yeah, start Chestnut.
If you can upload the last class's recording.
Yes, I will upload. Yeah. So.
Thank you.
Okay. So Shashank, I don't know if you were there during the session where we were discussing summary of all the chapters. But anyway, I'll do a quick recap.
I don't think I missed that.
Yeah, I'll do a quick recap. So there are 18 chapters and 700 shlokas in Bhagavad Gita, out of which 574 shlokas were spoken by Krishna and 84 shlokas spoken by Arjuna, Sanjaya 41 shlokas, Dhritarashtra 1 shloka.
Yeah, I saw that presentation today.
Yeah. And out of 84 shlokas that Arjuna spoke, he spoke about 30-35 shlokas in the first chapter itself. So that's what we all do, right? We all, whenever a problem comes, we continuously speak. We are not ready to listen, to the other person. We continuously speak. Whatever we know, we just want to download everything. So, yeah, uninterrupted. So that's what Arjuna did in the first chapter. Continuously.
Prabhuji, are you sharing your screen? Because I don't think
yeah. Sharing, yes.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah, we can see it, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Recording is there. Yeah, recording is there. Yeah. Looks like laptop battery is dying so soon today. Okay. Okay, and we went over the list of all 18 chapters. Arjuna Vishada Yoga, Sankhya Yoga, Karma Yoga, Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga, Karma Sannyasa Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Jnana Vijnana Yoga, Akshara Parabrahma Yoga, Rajavidya, Rajaguhya Yoga, Chapter 10, Vibhuti Yoga, Chapter 11, Vishwarupa Sandarshana Yoga, Chapter 12, Bhakti Yoga. Kshetra Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yoga. Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga. Purushottama Vibhaga Yoga. Okay, 1 second. Let me hide this. Devasura Sampad Vibhaga Yoga and Shraddha Traya Vibhaga Yoga. 17. Chapter 17 is you cannot see here, it's blocking. Shraddha Traya Vibhaga Yoga, divisions of faith. And last chapter 18, Moksha Sannyasa Yoga, perfection of renunciation. Okay. So let me hide this. Okay, what happened to this? Yeah, good. Okay, and we discussed a summary of I think 6 or 7 chapters. So let's do a quick recap of those. Chapter 1, Lamentation. So now last week we discussed the background of Bhagavad Gita, how the Kurus and Pandavas assembled on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, ready to fight. Then Dhritarashtra inquired from Sanjaya, what did, after having assembled on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, what did my sons and sons of Pandava do? Sons of Pandu do. So then Sanjaya starts describing what exactly happened there and what did Arjuna do. So then what happens is Arjuna asks Krishna to place the chariot in the middle of both the armies. Arjuna says, Krishna, I want to see who and all have come here to fight with me. Even though he knows who and all would come there, but he wanted to see all the different personalities who gathered here who are ready to fight against him. He knew that, Dronacharya, Bhishma, and all the Kauravas, everyone would come, but he wanted to see, who and all have come there. So then Krishna, with a smile, he places the chariot in the middle of both the armies. Then looking at his teacher Dronacharya and grandfather Bhishma and all of his cousins, maternal uncles, everyone on the opposite side of the battlefield, he's bewildered. Arjuna is bewildered. And he becomes bewildered with compassion. And he says, how can I fight against people who are worthy of my worship? Dronacharya and grandfather Bhishma, they are people who are worthy of worship. How can I fight with these people? And how can I kill all my cousins and maternal uncles and so on? How can I be the cause of their destruction? And he gives so many reasons in chapter 1. And finally he says he does not want to fight. And then he starts crying. So that is chapter 1, Arjuna's lamentation. Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Why Arjuna was crying. Arjuna's lamentation, Arjuna Vishada Yoga. And all the chapters, they have the name yoga. That means every chapter helps us connect with God. Every chapter in Bhagavad Gita helps us connect with Krishna. That's why the word yoga. So how can Vishadam connect us with God? How can Vishadam connect us with God? If it is karma, jnana, bhakti, and something else, we can understand. Those are the processes to connect with God. But how can Vishadam connect us with God?
Because we will seek for help. That when we are in bad situation,
Yeah.
we need help.
Yeah.
Then we will go and ask God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 1 second. Let me. Why this is not visible here?
At that time, Arjuna doesn't know God, right? Those are Arjuna knows God at that time. Who is worshipping? Like,
Yeah, I
who is
said
worshipping
generally.
Gurus, right?
Does Arjuna know that Krishna is God?
No, yeah, he doesn't know.
So at
But-
that time,
Because he is put into illusion.
Okay.
Arjuna was put into illusion.
But he has higher than Krishna, he is worshipping anyone.
But his question is, who is who? At that time, who was the god they worship basically?
Oh, which god Arjuna was worshipping that time? No, he is a pure devotee of Krishna. Eternally, Arjuna is a pure devotee of Krishna. He's a good friend and pure devotee of Krishna. So he was always worshipping Krishna only.
Okay.
But in this situation, now when a when a person is pure devotee, he should not be crying when he's on the battlefield, right? He should be ready to get up and fight and do the service for Krishna. But why he was lamenting was Krishna put him under illusion, so that he gets an opportunity to speak Bhagavad Gita. Yeah. Otherwise, he is a great warrior and he's a pure devotee. He knows what is the right duty as a part and parcel of Krishna, as a soul, as a spirit soul. What is his right duty that he knows? Okay, 1 second. I want to make sure people are seeing the audience here. Okay. Okay, that's good. Yeah. So, yeah, as Kalpana said, lamentation, Vishadam can help us connect with God, because when we are in difficulty, we ask for help. When we are in difficulty, we ask for help. We start inquiring, why am I suffering? You know, after so much of, initially you may not inquire. Initially, you may not even acknowledge that you are suffering. We are all suffering now. How many of us acknowledge that we are suffering? We think we are enjoying all the time. So, but we are all suffering. In between two sufferings, there is a little fraction of a second where we feel happy. And we think that is happiness.
We go down the like depression and everything.
It's like,
even though we have everything,
We don't
we
have
call it
anything.
like depression.
yeah, it's like portraying a gloomy picture of life, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever you are telling, it's like, even though we are happy, we have suffering inside. So what does that mean? Is it related to God?
Yeah. Okay. Let me ask you a question. Are you happy?
I should be happy.
No, you should be happy. But are you happy? Yeah, you should be happy. Yes, that is the quality of the spirit soul. The quality of the spirit soul is Satchidananda, always blissful. That's why we seek that happiness. That's why we seek happiness. Even in this material world, we seek happiness because the spirit soul has the eternal quality of being happy, blissful. Sat, Chit, Ananda. These are the three qualities of the spirit soul. Ananda is blissful. So we should be happy. As you said, we should be happy. Spirit soul always is happy. And even in the material world, spirit soul is hankering for happiness. We should be happy. That's right. But are we happy? That's the question.
Happy is a very overloaded term.
You're scared of death, right?
It's very relative, subjective.
And it's also on each and sometimes it changes very frequently, right? So what you're happy at that moment, happiness defined at that moment.
Yeah.
Basically, if you're happy for the day today,
Yeah.
now we are all happy because you forget everything, just continue. You're happy.
Yeah.
Once you go on the car, what will happen?
Yeah.
Different thing, right? So keep
Yeah.
on changing.
Yeah. So you said it rightly. You said happiness is at that moment.
Yes.
That means it's momentary.
Moment.
It's momentary happiness. It's not permanent happiness. What we are getting in this world is momentary happiness. It's temporary happiness. We are happy in this moment. But once we are out of this place, then we don't know. Yeah.
No, I get 24 that movement.
Hmm?
24 hours I get that movement. Then I'm happy, right?
Yeah. But how does that happen? Right now, it's not happening.
If I get it, then what?
Suppose you get it. Suppose. But when will you get it? By practice. When will you get it and how will you get it? By practice. By regular practice of this process, we all will become happy. Yeah. So now, let's all think that we are happy. Okay. Otherwise, you cannot lead life, right? You cannot lead life. Yes.
If you say that I am sad, then you won't do anything.
Yeah.
You won't forward, you just sit in the same place and
Yeah,
the people around you also become sad.
yeah.
Now, people mainly suffer because of old age, diseases, and death, right?
Yeah.
Those, that, yeah, then you suffer.
Those things nobody can control, right?
Yeah.
Escape.
Escape.
It does suffer.
Escape those things.
Yeah.
So they say layoff, right? It still suffers people, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So during DYS we discussed, so many. I know you guys didn't attend that, right? Yeah, but we discussed this topic elaboratively. So yeah, we are happy for some time, and we are not happy for majority of the time. But we should not feel morose. If we just think that we are not happy, then we may feel morose, and we will get demotivated, discouraged, and not do anything, right? So, and Bhagavad Gita is not teaching that. Bhagavad Gita is teaching action. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna encouraged Arjuna to fight. So, but when we are in difficulty, see, most of the problems, we think they are small problems and they're not even problems for us. And somehow or the other, we can get over those problems. But there will be situations in life where you will feel exactly like how Arjuna felt on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Arjuna describes in Bhagavad Gita chapter 1 how his situation was. After seeing Dronacharya and Bhishmadev, he describes Vaipatuscha sharire me romaharshascha jayate gandivam shamsate hasta tvachaiva paridahyate. Arjuna says, my mouth is drying up, my limbs are trembling, and my so basically he describes the symptoms of his fear. Looking at the situation on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, when everyone is ready to fight on the opposite side, people who are worthy of worship, they are ready to fight against him. He gets bewildered. And then his mouth dries up, and then his hands start shaking. Gandiva slips from his, his shoulder. So he describes all those symptoms. And in our life also, we get situations like that. We get situations like that. And it is all Krishna's arrangement. Because if we don't have problems like that, if Krishna only gives small problems like headache and fever, we'll get over those problems in 2-3 days.
Then no connection with God.
No connection with God. Yeah, very good. Yeah. So Krishna gives, in addition to these small problems, which we can easily overcome, Krishna also gives big problems. And it is Krishna's mercy. When he gives those big problems, it is Krishna's mercy. So Bhagavad Gita helps you understand that the big problems will come in everyone's life, and they are Krishna's arrangement for us to connect with God. So Bhagavad Gita helps us understand this point. Otherwise, how can anybody understand? Without the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, how can anyone understand why a person is born blind, why a person is poor, why someone is rich, why someone is poor, why someone is beautiful, why someone is ugly, why someone is healthy, why someone is unhealthy, why someone is strong and powerful, why someone is very weak. So how can anybody explain these disparities? And how can anybody explain the old age, disease, and death? Everyone wants to live forever, right? Everyone wants to live forever, but we're all dying. We see so many people dying, and eventually we'll also die. That's the reality. When you think about these things, it kind of looks like it's portraying a gloomy picture. But if you understand the reality in the early stage, then you can prepare for that reality efficiently. Just like the soldiers at the border of a country, they don't have a problem every day. They don't have problem, in the next 10 years, they may not have any problem. But what do? They just stand at the border of the country, and they're always watching. They're always prepared to handle the problem. So this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, even though it's kind of portraying a gloomy picture, but that's the reality, right? Any truth, when it is said it is like fire. Any truth, when it is revealed, it's like fire. It's harsh and bitter, but that's the reality. But when we have this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, we not only get prepared efficiently to handle these situations, but these so-called big problems, they don't appear as big problems anymore. Otherwise, it will be like the situation of Arjuna. Mouth drying up, hands trembling, all those symptoms. But if you have the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita and have an understanding that life is full of surprises, life can present any challenges, big, small to big, it can present any kind of challenges. And you also know, by reading Bhagavad Gita, you also know how to handle those problems. Bhagavad Gita has solutions for all kinds of problems in life. It has solutions for handling problems between daughter-in-law and mother-in-law. It has solutions to, to handle problems between wife and husband. Wife and husband. Because every time I say that first, and Kalpana always complains. For a change.
Definitely try.
Everybody goes to the Mahabharata and Ramayana, right?
Some level,
Every day. Every day Kurukshetra in the home.
Beautiful Kurukshetra.
Yeah. Sahana, are you witnessing anything? No, I'm saying, are you witnessing anything?
Of course.
Yeah.
It's a life package.
It's a life package. It has both good and bad. See, if you are given
Only
one
good.
gulab jamun, you relish it so nicely. You enjoy it so nicely. But if you are given 10 gulab jamuns and asked to eat one after the other,
No.
you cannot eat. Yeah.
Even bitter want to be there in life.
Yeah.
Then only the sweetness will. We
Yeah.
know the importance of sweetness when you taste bitter.
Yeah. So you want to eat some hot mixture in between. After 2-3 gulab jamuns, you want to eat some hot mixture. And then after that, maybe 4-5 gulab jamuns. So, yeah. You like gulab jamuns? Yeah.
So, are these gulab jamuns, Prabhu?
What?
Then for prasadam,
Arjun gets gulab jamuns. We should ask Harshani. She's the one who made dessert.
I'm not good at making good at them because I'm quiet.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah.
So you were saying that Bhagavad Gita has answers to all the problems. Right?
Yeah.
The moment everybody is in the early stage.
Yeah.
Especially for issues. So if we have any problem, right, how do you start looking at the problem?
Mhm.
Because for us, every small problem magnifies.
Yeah.
Because of other things in the life, it gets magnified.
Yeah.
So how do you go about any problem? If you have any small thing that we can't, which is not in our control, right? How
Yeah.
do you take it? For example,
Yeah.
something in the family or whatever it is. How do you read the problem and how do you pursue the problem? How do you take it forward?
Yeah. So as you said, when there is a problem, we magnify it.
Yes.
Problem may be very small, but we magnify it. We make it so big.
Yeah.
Reaction is more.
Reaction is more. Reaction is bigger than the magnitude of the problem.
Look at so the moment is the reaction.
Whenever I observe all the time. So, it's quite opposite to her. And I
No,
don't
that
know,
is
it's like-
despite me pushing them to sit next to each other. They will. You can't sit down next to me. I won't know you go there. Go, go.
So wireless communication is
Yeah.
happening. Yeah. So, and Arjuna did that exactly, he was also magnifying the problem. When he saw people who are worthy of his worship, he decided not to fight, and then he gave he gave a big lecture to Krishna. Arjuna gave a lecture to Krishna. Instead of hearing from Krishna, he gave a big lecture to Krishna. He spoke about 30 shlokas. He quoted Dharma Shastra, Ardha Shastra, all Vedic references as to why he doesn't want to fight. So he was magnifying the problem, just like how we do in life. And then eventually he figured out, even though I'm speaking so much, I'm quoting so many Vedic references, but I'm not finding any way out. I'm not finding any way out. Arjuna's purpose of speaking 30 shlokas in chapter 1 is to get out of his problem. But he was only describing about his problem and magnifying it. But eventually he figured out there's no way out. With his own efforts, there's no way out. So he figured that out. And then he surrendered to Krishna. Shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. Arjuna says, now Krishna, now I am a soul surrendered to you. I am your disciple. Please instruct me what is best for me to do. He did not say, should I fight or not? He said, what is best for me to do now? And then Krishna started speaking Bhagavad Gita. So when a situation happens in our life, when a problem occurs in our life, instead of looking at that problem with a magnifying glass, we should take a pause and then ask for guidance. Ask for guidance from an elderly person within the family, because we have this system of guidance. They say life should always be guided. In every walk of our life should always be guided. But in today's world, we are leading the life in the opposite way. Nothing is guided.
No, right.
Except the GPS, nothing is guided. Nothing is guided.
ChatGPT guides.
ChatGPT. So except that, nothing is guided in life. If you look at life 2-3 generations before, right?
Yeah.
Where it was joint family life, 2-3 families used to stay together in the same house. There was there used to be a grandfather or big brother of the house, 2-3 brothers, and there was a big brother. So all the family members used to listen to one person, the head of the household. Even today also, the term is there, head of the household term is there, but it's only for namesake. Financial head of the household. Yeah. So in the olden days, all the family members used to take guidance from that one person and lead life according to that. And they never questioned whether it was a good thing or bad thing. Whatever that elderly person says, they simply used to follow it.
Surrendered.
Yeah, simply surrendered and follow it. And they were very happy. But in today's society, even within the family, the families have become very nuclear. There is no concept of joint families. Until recently, our Vipul Prabhu and brother, they had joint family here for several years. They both lived in the same house for several years. How many years, Prabhu?
We were there for almost 4 years here. Before that, in Pune also we were together.
Oh, in Pune also. Wow. Yeah. So something very rare to see. Yeah. So now in today's society, families have become very nuclear, small family, only one family. And even within that small family, there is no concept of leading life through guidance. Husband does not follow wife's guidance. Wife does not follow husband guidance. And children do not follow parents' guidance. Sahana was looking at her hand, and then as soon as I said, she raised her eyebrow and
Not just parents, anybody's
yeah. Yeah. But when life is guided, it will be successful and peaceful. You'll be happy. When life is guided, you'll be happy. Because that person who is guiding, they have seen life. They have seen ups and downs in life. And they know what solution to apply in a situation. So when Arjuna surrendered to Krishna, Krishna started guiding him what is best for him. And then in the end, Arjuna said, Karishe vachanam tava. after hearing all Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna spoke the last verse, Karishye Vachanam Tava. Now I am ready to do whatever you ask me to do. In the beginning, he said, I cannot do this, fighting. In the end, after hearing Bhagavad Gita, he said, Karishye Vachanam Tava. I'm ready to do whatever you ask me to do. If you ask me to fight, I'll fight. If you ask me to stop fighting, I'll fight. I'll not fight. So, so life should be guided. So you can find an elderly person in the family, or you can think of a mentor within your friend circle, some elderly friend. Here we don't have a family, right? So within the friend circle, you can identify an elderly person, and you can reveal your heart, whatever is happening. You can reveal your heart and ask for suggestion, or you can call some elderly person in the family in India, your parents or grandparents, somebody in India. You can call them and seek guidance. And the best thing, even better than all these things, is if you have a spiritual guide, if you have a spiritual master, then that is even better. Because even our parents and grandparents, many of them have not read Bhagavad Gita.
One is Bhagavad Gita, and they are usually when you go internally within the family, they judge you.
Yeah.
They judge you, and the opposite person, so whatever happens there, they judge the personality. Right? Okay. As you said, rightly said,
Yeah.
a spiritual person who can,
Yeah.
is not related to you.
Yeah.
It's much easier to seek you as a helper, basically.
Yeah. It's easier for you to reveal your heart. You can openly discuss about your problem with that person. And that person, he not only has seen ups and downs in life, but he also has spiritual wisdom. So he is the best person to guide. So in the temple, we have Harivilas Maharaj. So anytime, he's open all the time, actually. So anybody has any problem, he's ready to sit down and discuss several hours and guide people. So life should be guided by an elderly person, especially like a spiritual master, guru.
I think by wisdom we can get by reading books, right? So we like Srimad Bhagavatam we can read.
No, by reading books, you can only get knowledge. That is not wisdom.
Yeah, knowledge only we can solve any problem. Suppose if I want to write exam, right?
Yeah.
They give so many questions. Questions are problem things, right? How can I read this question? Only by reading that book, right? So.
But life problems, you cannot solve by yourself simply by reading Bhagavad Gita.
There is no manual for life.
Yeah. Bhagavad Gita is life manual, but you cannot.
My point is just once you get a wisdom, right? So you can suppose any sages are like, they're very cool, even though whatever the situation is happening around the world, they are very happy. Internally, they're very happy, right? How they got it, like through wisdom only, right?
How did they get the wisdom?
I think by reading or
they learned it. They learned it from their gurus.
Yes.
Okay.
It's not like one person, he sat in Himalayas and then all by himself with his own effort, he became a sage.
Yeah, but
he followed his guru, who has seen the truth, and that guru followed his guru, who has seen the truth, like that. So reading Bhagavad Gita means, you can read like an academic book, you can read by yourself, but you may not understand anything.
That's not the purpose, right? Basically, any devotional book, if I read by myself, I'll interpret my own.
Exactly. Yeah. Speculation.
Somebody who already read it and kind of a master in it.
Yeah.
Master.
Yeah.
If you get lessons from it, for example, you all are here because you know better than, at least better than me. So I'm taking guidance from you in terms of.
Yeah, I'm learning from you all, and you are learning something from me. So we cannot understand Bhagavad Gita simply by reading it like an academic book. We have to understand it the way the gurus have understood it. Arjuna, we have to understand it the way Arjuna understood it. We have to understand it the way the gurus have understood it. Srila Prabhupada, if you open Bhagavad Gita book, in the purports, every shloka, he has given elaborative comments. The shloka is only 2 lines. Shloka is only 2 lines. Translation is 2-3 lines. But if we simply read that translation, we may not understand it. It will look like simple English, which is easy to understand, but you may not understand the meaning. That's why Prabhupada has given elaborative purport for every shloka to help us understand in detail. And Prabhupada's purports are guidance actually in life. So when situation happens, if you read Prabhupada's, if there is nobody, there's no elderly person available, no guru available, you are in Ohio, Columbus, somewhere where there is no temple also, then you can read Prabhupada's commentary in Bhagavad Gita. So that's guidance for you. Yeah. Okay. So Arjuna's lamentation helped him connect with God, because only when we are in difficulties, we inquire about God. We inquire, why am I suffering? Who made this mess? Who created this mess? Why did God create me? If God had not created me, I would not suffer. How did all this karma began in the very first place? So all these questions, we start asking all these questions, and then getting answers, and we start getting answers and slowly connect with God. So that's why Vishada Yoga, Arjuna Vishada Yoga. So through Vishadam, how Arjuna was able to connect with God. And if we apply the same principle in our lives, whenever there is a difficulty, whenever we are crying and weeping, we should seek for help. So when Arjuna asked Krishna what is best for him to do, so after he lamented and surrendered to Krishna, Shishasteham Shadimam Tvam Prapannam, when Arjuna surrendered to Krishna, Krishna started speaking Bhagavad Gita. Krishna starts speaking in chapter 2. Contents of the Gita summarized. That's the chapter name. Contents of the Gita summarized. Sankhya Yoga. Wherein Krishna gives knowledge of the soul. Now, what is the question that Arjuna asked, and what is Krishna telling here in chapter 2? Arjuna asked, should I fight or not? Now, Krishna starts talking about soul. So there's no relation at all. Now, let's say somebody wants to buy Tesla. Okay, Sudhakar wants to buy Tesla. Now, if he asks Rajesh, Rajesh, should I buy Tesla Model X or Model Y or Model S, whatever, or the Cybertruck or whatever. Now Rajesh says, okay, calm down. First, I need to tell you that you are not the body, you are the soul. Sudhakar will go mad, What did I ask and what is Rajesh telling? I asked him, should I buy Tesla Model X or Model Y? And Rajesh is telling,
You're not body.
I have to tell you, you are not the body, you are the soul. That's what exactly happened here. Arjuna asked, should I fight or not? And Krishna started telling about knowledge of the soul. So, even though it might sound completely unrelated, what Krishna started speaking in chapter 2, even though it might appear completely unrelated to what Arjuna asked, but Arjuna's question was, should I fight or no? But first you have to define who is that I. Now, when we say, I want to be happy, or I should be happy, right? Madhu, Monica, I should be happy. When I say I should be happy or I want to be happy, so first we have to define who is that I. We have to define that identity. When Arjuna asked, should I fight or should I not fight? So who is that I? We have to define that identity. So that is what Krishna is doing here. In chapter 2, Krishna is defining the identity. Krishna is defining Arjuna's identity. Because unless we know our true identity, we don't know what we are looking for. We don't know what we are looking for. What we are calling the so-called happiness may not be the happiness actually. Because we don't know the true identity. That's why we are asking for the wrong thing. We are in the wrong place and we are asking for a wrong thing. That's why you will never get permanent happiness in this material world. You will get momentary happiness, but we will never get permanent happiness because we are in the wrong place and we are asking for wrong thing. Remember that story? It Did we discuss that during DYS time? There was a king. There was a
3 wives.
Huh?
3
Yeah.
wives. 3 wives.
No, there are 4 wives. Yeah, that was the first slide of Bhagavad DYS class. No, not that one.
The 99 coin.
Not 99 coins one. Okay, maybe I didn't tell this. So there is something called Shreyas and Preyas. Okay, in the scriptures, there are 2 things called Preyas and Shreyas. Preyas means temporary happiness. Shreyas is permanent happiness. Next time, whenever you hear this name Shreyas, people have this name, right? Shreyas, Shreya, Shreyas. So you think of these 2 terms, Preyas and Shreyas. Preyas is temporary benefit, a temporary happiness. Shreyas is permanent happiness. So once there was a king, and one day he becomes very charitable. He gets into a mood where he wants to donate or he wants to give whatever his people ask for. So then he starts, Preyas and Shreyas. So this king, one day he becomes very charitable, and then he starts coming out into the streets of the kingdom and meeting with people, and whoever he meets, he asks them, what do you want? And he says, today I'm in a charitable mood, I'll fulfill whatever you ask. So different people ask different things, and the king, along with his ministers walking there, the ministers make a list of these things so that they can fulfill all these things later on. And then when the king was walking, he meets with a old lady. That old lady was carrying a huge load of wooden sticks on her shoulder.
Oh, we had.
Did I tell this?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yes, you told me.
Okay.
So
then what happens?
what do you want?
The king asks, what do you want?
She asked axe.
No.
Axe. Or lift this. Lift this.
That's a good story.
Yeah. No, it's.
Yeah.
Baruni moyamantati.
Yes.
Instead of.
Yeah. So the king asks her, this old lady was carrying a huge load of sticks on one shoulder. And the king asks, today I'm in big charitable mood. What do you want? You tell me. And the lady says, I have been carrying this load of sticks since morning, and my shoulder is aching. Can you help me shift this load from this shoulder to another shoulder?
No, he can't lift it, right?
Huh?
And he can't lift it, right? The king.
The king can do it. It's a simple task, right?
He could have asked many things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the king said, all right, I'll do
He can
it.
give you many things. Why are you asking the small thing like that?
Yeah, no, he does not say that, because whatever they ask, he just fulfills. Okay. He does not clarify the questions, or he does not clarify his, boon and those things. So then king says, all right, I can do it. And then he helps lift the load from one shoulder to another shoulder. And the lady is happy. I'm relaxed. That's a relief for me. And she thinks that's the happiness. And then after some time, the king meets other people, and then they make some wishes, and then the ministers make a list. And then the king meets this old lady again. And then the king asks again, what do you want? And she says, can you lift the load from this shoulder to another shoulder? King says, why not? And then he lifts the load from this shoulder to another shoulder. And then after some time, king meets another person. The king asks, what do you want? That person says, I don't want anything. I just want your friendship. The king says, that's all? Only friendship? He says, yes, I only want friendship. He says, I only want friendship. And then the king says, all right, I'll make that happen. So the ministers make all this list, and the next day, the king sits down with all the ministers and make sure that all the wishes are fulfilled. If somebody asks for a car, Tesla, king sends Tesla. If somebody asks for admission at Harvard or Stanford, Gulab Jamun. So the king makes sure that all these wishes are fulfilled. Or jewelry, diamond necklace, platinum necklace. So the king makes sure that all these are fulfilled. Then they come to the wish of this person who asked for friendship. The king asked the ministers, so this person asked for friendship, what should I do? Then the ministers say, it's very simple, king. Once in a while, you just go and meet him, and once in a while, you just ask him to come to the kingdom and visit you. King says, oh, it's very simple. Okay, we can fulfill that. Now, after a couple of months, the king remembers the wish of this person that he wants to be a friend, right? So now the king says, okay, next week I'm going to visit my friend. And then when the king is about to pay a visit to any place, the ministers have to make all the arrangements, right? So they go and visit this person's home. And it's a poor hut, then no basic, things also. So then the ministers, they build a big house, very beautiful house, and then arrange all the comforts.
Very smart guy.
All the comforts, like 72 inches screen, TV, and QLED TV, and recliners, everything. And then the king comes and visits, spends some time with that friend, and then he goes back to his kingdom. Whereas this person, he got a beautiful house and all the comforts, and also the friendship with his friend king. And then occasionally this friend would go and visit the king, and the king also continues visiting him. So when you ask for friendship with the king, you not only get your material benefits, but you also get the higher benefit of becoming a friend with the king. Yeah. Similarly, so now if you look at those two examples, right, that old lady example and this person who asked for friendship, the old lady, what she asked for is temporary happiness. That's prayers. Whereas that person who asked for friendship is permanent happiness. That's Shreyas. So similarly, when you ask for friendship with Krishna, then Krishna not only fulfills your material benefits, but he gives you devotion. He gives you devotion to worship him. So if we don't know our true identity, we will be just like that old lady. We'll be asking for temporary benefits. Wrong identity means we think that we are the body. Then we only ask for whatever the bodily needs are.
That's what's happening in the current world. Everybody goes to God and asks whenever they have a problem. They ask,
I need a job.
Seek help with their existing, only that praise kind of problem. Basically, they get that immediate help.
They get temporary benefits.
And then everything is good until you get your next problem.
Yeah. So
After they will forget, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They forget and they come back again when they have a problem, right? So it's like in temporary
So
relief.
that's why God gives a lot of problems. Then only we connect with God.
yeah, so a lot of people today only Mahi was telling, when somebody prays to any god, oh God, please give me a good job. I got laid off. Please help me get a good job. I'll come and do circumambulation 108 times. So Mahi was asking, why do we do circumambulation or the pradakshina? Why do we do the pradakshina 108 times? So many people, they make promises like that, 108 pradakshina or 108 coconuts or head shave, so many things, right? But after their problem is solved, they forget about those prayers. They forget what they promised to God. Many people forget.
Mostly.
Yeah, either they postpone for many years.
Postpone is a very common thing.
Yeah, they postpone it for many years, not just 1 or 2 years. They postpone many years, and then eventually they remember, okay, now I need to fulfill this. And many people, they even forget also. That's what happens when we ask for prayers, temporary benefits. But when we know our true identity, we will ask for the right thing, that is Shreyas. What is best for us in the long term? What is best for us in the long term? What is that thing that gives us permanent happiness? That's why Krishna starts teaching the true identity of Arjuna in chapter 2. Then, after knowing about the identity, the true identity that I'm not the body, but I'm the soul, that is not enough. That is only theoretical knowledge, right? So now you need to have wisdom. As Thakur said, we need to have wisdom. And you don't get wisdom simply by reading Bhagavad Gita. You need to do some action. That is duty. You need to perform your duty. That is chapter 3. Krishna talks about Karma Yoga in chapter 3. Chapter 3, 4, and 5. Krishna talks about Karma Yoga. So action, action fructifies knowledge into wisdom. Okay, when you perform action, that action fructifies knowledge into wisdom. So knowing that you are not the body and you are the permanent soul, eternal soul, that is theoretical knowledge. Now, how do you realize that? How do you achieve the self-realization that you are not the body, you are the soul? Now, all of us heard this statement that I am not the body, I am the soul, you know. But now if I take, this tripod stand and hit Sahana, what are you going to do? Huh? Okay, let's experiment. You're going to cry, right? You're going to cry. It's going to hurt you and you're going to cry. That means you're still acting on the bodily level. Not only you, all of us will do the same. Even if your dad also will do the same thing. So knowing that we are not the body, we are the permanent soul is one part. But realizing that aspect is another part. So action helps us realize the knowledge. Action helps us realize that knowledge and get the wisdom out of it. And chapter 4 is knowledge, transcendental knowledge. The chapter title is not, okay, let me enlarge it. Chapter 4 is knowledge, transcendental knowledge. The chapter title is transcendental knowledge. It's all about knowing. Knowing what? Knowing why we are doing what we are doing. It's all about knowing why we are doing what we are doing. So any action that you are performing, you need to know why you are doing that. If you don't know why you are doing what you are doing, it will simply be a ritual. It will simply be a ritual and it will be mechanical. You will not see any enthusiasm in life. You will not see any joy in life. Everything will look, monotonous, very boring. But when you know why you are doing what you are doing, then that will inspire you to do more and that will keep you enthused to continue doing it for long time. So Krishna talks about transcendental knowledge, especially Nishkama Karma Yoga. Okay, he gives instruction to Arjuna to perform action without attachment. Perform action without attachment. Attachment to what? Attachment to the results of the action. Krishna tells, perform your action as a duty, as a matter of duty, but don't expect any results out of it. Don't expect any results out of it. In other words, do not be attached to the results of your action. Perform your action as a matter of duty. You give your 100% and perform your duty. If a student wants to pass the exam, the student must give 100% while preparing for the exam. Now, while performing that action of giving the test, the student should not be attached to the results of the action. Okay, so whatever preparation has been done, it's already done. Now, when you are in the exam hall, in the examination center, you just focus on your action of answering those questions nicely. Now, what happens after that? It's beyond your control. We have seen many bright students, who are very intelligent, very sharp. They could have gotten admission into, UW, local, which is local, right? They could have gotten admission into UW, whatever branch, computer science or engineering, whatever they want to do, they could have gotten. But we have seen many students have not achieved that. It's not because they're not intelligent. Like Kalpana's daughter, Niharika. She's very bright, very intelligent. She got admission into UT Austin honors, which is very rare to get. and she got second position in the DECA, which is even in the state level, second position. She got many big things, but she did not get admission into UW, which is local. I mean, if she gets,
In general science and.
but not computer science.
Computer science, she is in waiting list.
Yeah. And I know many other students who are not as bright, as intelligent as Niharika, but they got into UW computer science engineering. Because there are many things which are beyond our control. So now, if you perform any action with attachment, and if that does not happen, if you don't get the desired result, what you're expecting, you will suffer a lot. You will be depressed. You might even attempt to commit suicide. There were cases where some of IIT students where they committed suicide because they got only 98%. Instead of 100%, they got only 98%. So,
I think the generation is getting
Patience level is decreasing.
very decreasing. Because that's the problem. I think way back when we were kids, even if you came in a subject, nobody cared.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody will test you.
Every generation is patience level is reducing a lot. That's
Yeah.
true. Compared to our grandparents, we don't have that.
So
much
it's lack
patience.
of education, right? Lack of education in the sense, not the academic education, lack of the knowledge, what is right and what is wrong. Discrimination between, lack of discrimination between the right and wrong thing. So that is lost. So if we know why you are doing what you are doing, you will not be attached to the results. Okay. And chapter 5. So chapter 3 is action.
Chapter 4, statement what you said. If you know, if you just perform the action, and if you don't expect any
Result.
out of it,
Yeah.
that's all 50% of your problem.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right.
Even apply any principle in your life.
Yeah.
Anything, right? So
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, if you're not attached, then whatever happens after that,
doesn't matter.
yeah, you wouldn't suffer much. Yeah. So
you
chapter
want
3 is
to- you want
action.
to do mechanical work, right?
No, it's fine. When you are doing it, you are all in and doing it. Doing it, you're doing it.
50% of your responsibility as a kid, as a parent, for anything in your office. We do 100% of it, right?
Yeah, when you are preparing for the test,
Yeah.
you are giving 100%.
100% of it. After that, if you don't get promoted, you're not worried much because you perform 100% of it. That's it. There could be a number of things, your manager can't even control those things.
Yeah,
It could happen. So what you can do?
yeah. And even after,
Saying is easy.
Yeah.
Saying is easy, but implementing that and get to that knowledge is very, very.
it happens. See, first time when you hear, it does not happen. 10th time when you hear, it does not happen. But 100th time, you start thinking. I have been trying to do this since last 100 times, but I'm not becoming successful. But 100th time, you'll start thinking seriously and then following that instruction.
I think if I understand it correctly, the overall mantra of it, if you're more detached.
Yeah.
Then you get more attached to the God or whatever yourself, basically. Is that right statement?
The correct way of understanding it is, if you get attached to God more, then you naturally become detached. What you said is correct.
Yeah.
If you are detached, then you become attached to God.
Yes.
But the correct process or the easy process is, the more you become attached to God, the easier it becomes for you to detach from things. See, now we know the statement that we should perform an action without attachment. And you only said it's not very easy.
Yeah.
And that can become easy if you attach to God. The detachment can become easier. The process of detachment can become easier.
Then you won't get sad and you won't, nothing would stop you to try again. Like if we want some promotion, like this year you didn't get.
Yeah.
That shouldn't stop you from trying it again.
Yeah.
So if you're too attached, you would say, I tried so much.
If you are too attached, you will get frustrated. You will go mad, and then you might go and have a fight with your manager. And in the process, you might even lose the job. You might even lose the job. forget about promotion, but you might even lose the job.
You don't put yourself in the job,
Yeah,
there will be performance levels get down. And
yeah,
if, like, forget about getting promotion, you might get demotion.
yeah.
But Prabhuji, like this thing should not go in an ignorance way also, right? Like people, like we start doing ourselves, put ourselves in 100%.
Yeah.
Every time, and people, other way, like they think like, oh, whatever I give or not, like people are working, then why should I care about them? It should not be in an ignorance way also.
It should not be in an ignorant way.
So basically what
So you're talking.
you are doing your 100%.
Yeah.
But
They are
people are
ignoring-
not taking advantage of it, not noticing your
They're not
work.
noticing, or they're not even acknowledging it.
Yeah.
Forget about noticing. They're not even acknowledging what you are doing.
Yeah.
So how do you, even though you still do that?
Yeah.
That's the question, right?
Yeah.
It should not go like whatever we are doing 100%. It should not take us in ignorance.
Yeah. There should not be unfair treatment,
Yeah.
right? It should be fair treatment. Yeah. So that's what we expect, and that's what we want to happen, right? But many times we see it doesn't happen that way.
I mean,
There are so many politics. There are so many, and you are a manager.
So that's what like when Arjuna does, right? Like they ask for their whatever their fair share.
Yeah.
They did not
They did not give.
back.
Yeah.
So it's like okay, fight, like because, but ultimately what it relates to is it is your swadharma. Like Arjuna says like so many things. I'm compassionate, this, that, and all. But his swadharma is a warrior.
Yeah.
As a warrior, he has to fight.
Yeah.
And he has to be ruling the kingdom.
Yeah.
So if he is aligned to that, and that is his swadharma, he has to fight for it.
Yeah.
I mean, if that is not your swadharma, if getting promotion is not your swadharma, if you like, you just want to work, then that's ultimately what it boils down to is what is your swadharma.
Yeah.
That's what I feel. If your swadharma allows you to fight, that is what you want, then you fight for it.
Yeah. So
Again, like fighting here, it again points to like you are expecting some result out of it, right? Like if you don't fight, if people don't know like you are looking for something in your life, right? And that again leads to like you're expecting some result out
yeah,
of it.
no,
Like,
the point
No,
is,
it's a duty now. Duty, right?
It's a duty.
Yeah.
so the point is not to question. Okay, we're not saying you should not question. When such an unfair treatment happens, you gave your 100% and you are expecting a promotion, but instead of you getting promotion, some other person, even though that person has not given 100%, he got promoted. So when you see such an unfair treatment, you should ask. You should ask, but the difference is when you don't have this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, how will you ask? How will you respond to that unfair treatment?
Become like a war fighting.
Yeah, you will become frustrated, and you might even take a big stick and hit on his head. So
in this country, we can't do those things. Yeah,
you should ask. Yeah, you should ask, but with composure and calmness,
And
you can ask the question.
After asking also, if you still don't get promotion, that is when I think the Bhagavad Gita helps even lot, right? Okay,
Yes.
you tried your best, you fought for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's up to beyond that, it's not.
Yeah. Because beyond, yes, the karma is there, and so many elements, right? We discussed this in one of the classes. There are 5 different things or 5 factors that are needed to perform any action.
Yeah.
Even if I want to, raise my hand, there are 5 different factors that are involved. One is my desire to raise my hand, and the material facility. That means the ligaments and bones, everything should be in proper arrangement so that I can raise my hand, the material facility. And then third one is demigods. No, not demi. The facility is demigods basically.
What is the question?
So desire, 5 factors that are needed to perform any action. Okay, one is my desire,
Will also.
and the facility.
Desire is will.
Huh?
Desire is will.
Desire is will. Yeah, desire is will. And the facility, desire, will, desire, facility. Huh? What is that?
Energy.
Facility is energy. Yeah. So there is Krishna's sanctioning is there. Okay. Huh? Effort. Very good. Wow. Very good. Very good. Effort. Fourth one. And what is the fifth one?
Sanctioning.
No, sanctioning we discussed.
So desire, bodily function, demigods, effort, and sanctioning.
Okay. So bodily functions and demigods both are different then.
Different.
I was thinking bodily functions and demigods are in one. That is one factor combined. Okay. Okay. Now that clarifies. So you need a desire.
Desire.
I have a desire to raise my hand, and
Bodily function.
I should have my bodily function. All the ligaments, bones, everything should be in proper shape.
Demigods.
Because if my karma is bad, I will not have my bodily functions in proper order. Okay. Even if I have bodily functions in proper order, then demigod should be happy.
So that means whatever, let's say if I perform something, expecting something, for
Yeah.
example, I wanted to eat something.
Yeah.
And if I go to restaurant,
Yeah.
as an example, and the food is over.
Yeah.
They don't serve the dish. What I wanted is not serving the food.
Yeah.
Right. That means can I also correlate that to demigods are not happy at that moment. That's why I'm not getting that one.
Yeah.
Some of the other factors. Some other factors.
Yeah. Some other factor, and most likely it is either demigods are not happy because you did not perform sacrifices, or Krishna is not happy. Yeah. Why Krishna is not sanctioning that? Yeah. Either demigods because you did not perform.
Basically, what we are telling here is if you're not getting what you want,
Yeah.
it's more or less that you didn't perform your duties, you're not getting that.
Yeah. You did not please God.
Half-hearted, thinking about the result. The moment you start.
Or no, sometimes it is also like when Krishna is not sanctioning,
Yeah.
it might not be good for you.
Yeah.
It's different from that you do not have enough pious credits or enough sacrifice. It's that it is not good for you in the long run.
So basically, sometimes it's you don't deserve it is one because you didn't perform
Yeah.
your duties.
Yeah.
Or it is not good for you because
Yeah.
God is with you.
Yeah.
It's in both the ways.
It's good
Yeah.
in both ways.
Both the ways.
So, for example, a child goes to a cigarette shop
Yeah.
and asks for cigarette. He will simply give because that's his business, right? Whereas the same child goes to the parent and asks for it. The parent will not give because parent knows that it's not good for the child. So if when Krishna is not sanctioning something, that means it is not good for you.
Not good for your nature or something, right? Or maybe
It is not good for your spiritual progress. Spiritual progress. Yeah.
I think that's also again 10 to 15% of your problems, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Every
So
time.
if you don't have this knowledge, if you don't have the knowledge that there are 5 factors involved, out of which my effort or desire are only 2.
That's like asking for wooden sticks to be moved from one shoulder to other shoulder.
Yes, it could be.
Yeah.
We might be asking that, but God might have a better thing in store for us.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Basically, 40% is your effort, 60% is comes from other side.
yes. Yeah. So if you know that, then you will not be frustrated. Yeah. You can still ask, but even after asking, if it is not happening, then as Jyotirmai said, it's your karma. Demigods are not happy or Krishna is not happy. Yeah.
It's like that, one should be happy with anything that comes on its own accord. That doesn't mean that you do not try for it or effort. One of the Prabhuji in one of his classes, he was giving an example that it's like anything that you get in life. It's already sanctioned for you. It is there in the post office. You just have to go and collect it. So your effort is there in just going and collecting it. It's not that you just manufacture it and you spend your whole life after it. You just put a little effort, it will come to you if it is there for you.
Yeah. Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, he tells, happiness and distress, they come on their own accord. they come in Honda Accord car. You don't have to. You don't have to strive for it. Happiness and distress, whatever is supposed to come to you, that will come in Honda Accord car.
Sudhakar is buying Kasam.
So like Krishna says, happiness and distress will come on their own accord. You don't have to strive much.
Like too much.
Yeah.
Basically, perform your duties 100% effort. That's it.
Yeah.
It will come either way.
Yeah. So
Prabhu, one question on this pattern. So I think we missed that class. So
okay.
I see the 5 sanctions and then demigods.
So
What are the-
so first one is desire.
Yeah, desire.
You have a desire to perform an action. Then the bodily functions or the facility should be there
Yeah.
to perform that action. Then third one, demigods facilitating those bodily functions.
Sorry.
So
Devatas.
like, even Devatas are Jesus, there might be a possibility that Krishna will sanction.
Yes.
Even if devatas are not pleased,
They are
Please.
Krishna will not sanction. Yeah. Yeah. That's why that is the fifth element.
So
But I don't know. If Devatas are pleased, Krishna will also.
No, the opposite is true.
Opposite is
If Krishna is pleased, devatas are pleased. Yeah.
So are we then saying in Bhagavad Gita that we have to please devatas, demigods, like demigod meaning like Ganesha, Saraswati, Lakshmi, that kind of.
Yeah.
So we should.
You have to please devatas by pleasing Krishna. You don't have to separately please devatas. If you have to please devatas, then there are 33 crore devatas.
I mean, Bhagavatam, they pray to Govardhanagiri, right? So the Indra will come. Why they are praying to Govardhanagiri? Why they are not praying to me?
Yeah.
These many years they prayed to me. They stopped praying. Right now they are stopped praying to me.
Yeah.
So I don't want to. Do something like raining. So the crops will dry up and everything. So they are not doing any prayers for me. So I
Yeah.
want to show up everything like thunderstorms, like that.
Yeah.
So then Krishna will come. Okay, if you do like this, okay, I will help. Vrindavan people.
Yeah.
By lifting the Govardhanagiri Parvata.
And then he taught a lesson
Yeah.
to Indra.
And-
Yeah. So yeah, if you simply please Krishna, then all the devatas are pleased. Okay. So those are the 5 factors. So now when we don't get promotion, even after asking if it does not happen, then we just understand that either the demigods are not happy or Krishna is not happy. That's why it's not happening. Okay, now chapter 5. It's 114, right? Yeah. Yeah.
46 chapter 2,
Contents of the Gita summarized.
contents of
Contents of Gita summarized.
what is 3?
Karma Yoga. So chapter 3, Karma Yoga, action. Chapter 4, knowledge. Chapter 5 is a combination of action and knowledge. Chapter 5 is a combination of action and knowledge. Now, when there is action and knowledge, there are 2 separate things, right? Action and knowledge.
Okay.
So action and knowledge, 2 separate things. Action inspires knowledge, and knowledge inspires action, and action fructifies knowledge into wisdom. Okay, if you want to make a note, action
Knowledge inspired.
action fructifies knowledge into wisdom.
Sorry, Prabhuji, can you spell that fructifies?
Fructifies, fructifies. Action fructifies knowledge into wisdom. And knowledge inspires action. Knowledge inspires action. So in chapter 4, Krishna says, why you need to do what you are supposed to do. Without that knowledge, you are not inspired to do things. Even if the children, right? The children are asked to do some things. They'll ask 100 questions. If you ask Arjun, hey, you have to keep quiet, he'll ask 100 questions. Yeah. He's confirming that. So knowledge inspires action. It motivates you to perform action.
So it's like a cycle. It's not like that.
It's not a cycle.
Then the wisdom is the end final.
Yeah, wisdom is the final goal. Wisdom is the final, prayojana. Now, when you have these two things, action and knowledge, right? Some people, they think only action is good. And some people think only knowledge is good. Karma yoga and jnana yoga, basically. Some people think only if I simply read Bhagavad Gita, I can become yogi. Sudhakar is not paying attention. No, we cracked a joke on you. Good for you. So some people think if I simply read Shastras, if I simply read Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Ramayana, if only reading, okay? Only by reading, I can achieve moksha or bhakti. And some people think, okay, reading and all is not for me. I'll do whatever seva is needed, I'll do, but reading and all is not for me. And they'll only do seva, action all the time, action. So both are not good. Only action is not good. Only knowledge is not good. So both have to be combined. And Krishna teaches that in chapter 5. How to combine knowledge and action. How to perform action with knowledge.
So knowledge leads to action and action leads to wisdom.
No. One does not lead to the other. It's not like that.
Knowledge inspires action.
Knowledge inspires action. When you know why you need to do certain things, then you will be inspired. Yeah. You will not have questions in your mind. You will be ready to do the task. Yeah. If somebody asks you to do certain thing and they don't tell you why you need to do that, then you will have a lot of questions in your mind and you are not motivated to do that. But if there is a proper knowledge of why you should do what you are asked to do, then it will inspire you to do things. And action fructifies knowledge into wisdom. Yeah. That is chapter 5. Chapter 6. So probably we'll end with this. Chapter 6. Chapter 6 is meditate and connect. Okay. Krishna teaches Ashtanga Yoga. Sudhakar is busy playing with Arjun. That's why he's missing all the golden points. He's missing all the golden points. Your favorite. You're very connected to chapter 6. Meditate and connect. Ashtanga Yoga. Krishna teaches the eightfold mystic yoga process, Ashtanga Yoga. But the most important lesson that Krishna teaches in chapter 6 is mind control. How to control mind. So Arjuna says, Krishna, it is very difficult to control mind. I can control wind, but not mind.
And Chanchalam.
Chanchalam. The shloka is also like that. Chanchalam hi mana Krishna pramati balavad drudam tasyaham na pranashyami sachamena pranashyati. So Krishna uses the same word, Chanchalam. Chanchalam hi mana Krishna. Arjuna says actually. So my mind is very chanchala. I cannot focus. I cannot control. I can control wind, but not mind. And Krishna agrees. Krishna says, yes, I agree. It is difficult to control mind, but it is possible with suitable practice and detachment. It is possible to control mind with suitable practice and detachment.
What practice means?
What passion for the world.
And Krishna describes. Yeah. Yeah, that is Ashtanga. Yeah. So practice means, simple technique is, we should not give too much leverage to the mind. Okay. Leverage means we should not let the mind wander on its own. We should not let the mind wander on its own. We should be watchful of our thoughts, and we should be able to bring the mind to our consciousness, to our control. And we should not just let the mind wander in its own. So there's a small story in this context, right? What happens if we give too much leverage to our mind? The story title is, because kids are also done with their story. Okay, all the kids come here. Story time now. Story one? Okay.
Pick now.
If the class is continuing, Prabhu, I can feed them.
No, story time. 5-minute story is for kids also. Yeah. Sit. Yeah, kids bring life to the class. Kids bring life to the class. So, Veda Samhita, you want to listen to a story? Come, sit here. Pick it up. Pick it up. Pick it up. Pick it కూర్చో. అరే మీ సోఫాలో కూర్చో. Okay, so there's a small story in this context of what happens if we give too much leverage to our mind, if we don't control our mind and give too much leverage. So the story title is Never Keep a Cat.
Yeah.
Okay, did you tell this?
Heard the story.
Huh?
Heard it.
You heard this. Okay. Never keep a cat. Cat. That's the story. Okay. Does anyone know the story? Kids? Mother? You know the story? Okay. Samarth. No? Okay. Never keep a cat. So the story is once upon a time, there was a monk. So he was on the deathbed during his last few days, or maybe the last day actually.
But this is
Then
Mullah Nasruddin story, something like that.
I don't know who is the narrator or not. So then all the ashram people, they come because he's about to leave his body, right? So all the ashram people come near him, and they want to hear his last instructions. And then he leaves his body by saying only one thing: never keep a cat. That is his final instruction. You know, a monk who is a guru, spiritual master, you know, the disciples were expecting different instructions, like do book distribution or build temples, some things like that. But this monk, this guru, gave final instruction: never keep a cat. Then they were all scratching their head to understand, you know, what does it mean to say, you know, never keep a cat. Then they go to one other senior monk in the ashram, and they ask for clarification on that. Then the monk says, monk narrates a story of this guru who left the body, right? He tells when this guru was leaving, when he was very young, so he had a family, and then he wanted to take up this spiritual path very seriously. So he renounced everything. He renounced his family, and then goes to a small village, and he starts living in a small hut, hermitage. And then so sannyasi, right? Sannyasi means he has bare minimum things, like 3-4 sets of clothes and bare minimum things. And in that hermitage, in that hut, there comes a rat. Every day there comes a rat and starts eating his clothes. He has only 4 or 5 sets of clothes, And then the rat starts eating his clothes. And then he's a sannyasi, right? He cannot afford to, get new clothes. Then looking at this situation, the villagers recommend him to keep a cat. To kill the rats, they recommend him to keep a cat. He thinks, okay, it's a wise decision. Let me keep a cat. Then he brings a cat, and then the cat keeps the rat away. He's happy that the rats are not spoiling his clothes anymore. And then he, over a period of time, he realizes that he has to feed the cat. He has to feed milk to the cat, right? Then every day he goes to different villages home and gets some milk. And then after several months, the villagers tell him that you are a sannyasi. It does not look good when you come out every day and ask for simple thing as milk for your cat. Why don't you keep a cow? Why don't you keep a cow? Then he thinks it's a very good idea. Then he brings a cow, and then he starts milking the cow and feeding the cat every day, and the cat takes care of the rats. And then after some time he realizes, oh, I have to feed grass to the cow. And then he goes to the villagers' home and then asks for some grass. And then after a few months, the villagers say, sannyasi, it does not look good. You are a sannyasi. It doesn't look good to ask for simple things such as grass every day. And then they ask to buy a piece of land. To buy a piece of land so that you can grow your own grass. And he thinks it's a good idea. And then he buys a piece of land. And then he starts cultivating some crops and grass. And it becomes too much for him. He's an old person and the sannyasi doesn't look good, to do everything by himself. Then the villagers recommend him to keep a maid servant. To keep a maid servant so that the maid servant will take care of, cultivating this land and growing grass so that you can feed the cow and then you can feed the cat and cat will take care of the rats. And then he agrees it's a good idea. And then the maid servant starts working every day. And then she also starts living in the same hut. And then over a period of time, he gets married to that old servant, that maid servant. The sannyasi gets married to the old maid servant, and then they get kids. And then on one fine day, he realizes, what am I doing? I had a family. I had wife and children. I left them. I took renunciation. And now I'm back to square one. Now I have family and children. So this is what happens if we don't control our mind. If we give too much leverage to our mind. That's why this monk says, never keep a cat. So in the name of cat, he got a cow. In the name of cow, he got a land. In the name of land, he got a maid servant. In the name of maid servant, he got children. Yeah.
Don't marry.
Don't marry. Kalpana gave a nice conclusion to the story. Don't marry.
The translation of never keep a cat is don't marry.
Don't. Very good. And he gave a commentary on that.
Dogs are okay.
Yeah.
If he can buy all the land and a maid, why can't he buy any clothes?
If he can buy land.
No.
Yeah. See, now his problem is not clothes anymore. His problem is, how can I feed my cat? How can I feed my cow? How can I maintain my land?
No, when it's food, right? Yeah. If he had money to buy land, buy cow.
No, they donate. The villagers donated.
Oh,
yeah. See, the villagers, they cannot donate clothes every day, right? They can give a cat once. They can give cow once. They can give land once. That's all. And they can give maid servant once.
That's all.
After that, what happens is between you and
The moral of the story, don't marry.
Don't marry.
Alva, you understood this.
No, don't marry, be happy.
Yeah. Nagarjuna said that.
Okay. So before we wrap up, any questions?
Yeah, what if you're already married?
Monk doing the first place.
What should the monk do in the first place? Should have done in the first place.
Instead of, buying, leading an entire different life.
Yeah.
What should have?
See, the monk, when he was in young age and after some seriousness, he taking sannyasa order and then leaving his family, going and start living in a hermitage. That's all proper thing to do. Okay. Because scriptures also recommend 4 ashramas: Grihastha, Brahmachari, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasi. So Grihastha, over a period of time, after some seriousness and after a good amount of progress in spiritual path, they can leave, in 50 or 60, whenever the retirement age is. He can leave the family and then take sannyasa order. Spend Vanaprastha initially and then slowly sannyasa. So whatever the monk has done up to that point is correct. But after that, just to protect his clothes, he bought that idea of raising a cat. Okay, there he should have become more conscious and control his mind, not listen to his mind, but use his intelligence and don't buy the idea of bringing a cat into the home. Yeah. So probably, if there are holes to the hut, covering them properly and clipping the clothes in a box or something.
Or be okay with torn clothes.
Be okay with torn clothes. Huh? Yeah. No, to feed the cat, then you have to, that is where the problem, right? That is where the problem started. So in the first place, feed the rat. No, even the rat also. Don't even keep the rat. Don't even keep the rat. Yeah. So Krishna gives this instruction in Bhagavad Gita: curb your desire in the very beginning. Curb your desire in the very beginning. If you don't curb means like abandon, suppress or abandon. If you don't abandon your desire in the beginning, then what happens is you start contemplating on the desire. And the more you start contemplating on the desire, you get attached to it. And the more you get attached, it becomes impossible to get out of it. Yeah. Krodhat bhavati sammoha, sammoha smriti vibhramaha, smriti vibhramshat buddhinashat pranashyati. Yeah.
I think instead of curbing your desires, if you control your mind is the main culprit of it. Because if you curb one desire, next desire will come.
Yeah, desires keep coming. Desires keep coming.
So I think the best way, as you say, right, controlling the mind is the best.
Yeah. And the entity that controls mind is intelligence. The hierarchy is body comprising of the 5 senses.
Yeah.
And above body and above 5 senses is mind. And above mind is intelligence. And above intelligence is false ego. And above ego is soul. No, that is different. That is different levels of consciousness. Yeah. This is anatomy of the human life. Subtle body and it's basically anatomy of human life. Human life consists of 3 things: body, soul, and mind. Body, soul, and mind. If you put false ego aside, body, soul, and mind. Body comprises of the 5 senses. Okay, Panchendriyas. And then above these 5 senses is mind. Mind is always directing these 5 senses in different ways to fulfill the desires. But mind should be guided by intelligence.
That's called Panchendriya, Panchanandendriya, like there are different indriyas.
The senses are 5 senses. There are 5 working senses, Pancha Karmendriya, and there are 5 knowledge acquiring senses, Jnanendriya, Pancha Jnanendriyas. Yeah. So did I make it clear or did I make it more complicated? Yeah. So the senses are always controlled by mind to fulfill various desires. Okay. For example, you have a desire to eat 10 gulab jamuns. Okay. That is coming from taste, tongue. It is actually coming from mind. Your mind is telling you to eat gulab jamun, even though you don't need it, even though you're not hungry, or even though you have already eaten 5 gulab jamuns, the mind is telling you to eat more. So it is the mind who is the culprit. Mind is controlling these senses to fulfill various desires. And most of the times, we take dictation from the mind and think, this is what I should do. And that's a wrong thing to do. But the mind should be guided by intelligence. Only with intelligence, you can discriminate between good and bad. You can discriminate between good desire and bad desire. And then you can curb it in the very beginning. If there is no intelligence, then you start contemplating on the desire, because your mind is telling to do. You start contemplating on the desire and you become attached to it. On the other side, if there is intelligence, then you curb that desire in the very beginning. Because with intelligence, you know that, okay, it is not a good thing for me to do. Smoking cigarette is not a good thing for me to do.
And where is the ego?
So above intelligence is ego. And above ego is soul.
Why is it mind and same place? Like if you're the mind, they're extremely different.
No, they are not in the same place. Above. Above mind is ego. Yeah. And higher than ego is soul.
No, I didn't get. So why is ego above intelligence? What does that mean?
That ego is not the ego talk in general. Ego is more like identifying yourself with all those things.
Yeah.
That is the ego.
False ego. It's called false ego.
Or false ego.
Identifying yourself with the body.
With intelligence, body, and
Yeah.
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 But I heard like the first culprit is the senses actually, because I want to see some good things all the time. So the culprit is
It is actually coming from mind. The mind is pulling all these 5 senses in different ways.
No, yeah.
Yeah, like if
The
If
senses,
you're
senses
saying-
feeds the mind and then the mind take control.
Yeah.
if this is like, even though you have eyes and everything, they don't work. It's mind which is controlling us.
Yeah.
Scientific.
See, when that monk, he heard from the villagers, keep a cat. So he engaged his senses first, right?
Yeah.
And then he did not use his intelligence to decide whether it is good or not. He let his mind wander and he took dictation from the mind. And he thought it's a good idea. And then he started contemplating, he got attached, and then all the problems started.
It's like horse and then rail and those things.
Yeah, we discussed that example, right? Yeah. The 5 horses represent the 5 senses. Yeah.
Rail is the mind, I think, right?
Reins are the mind.
Yeah.
And then Krishna, the chariot driver, is the intelligence. And Arjuna sitting on the chariot is the soul. Yeah.
That example,
How Arjuna is soul? No, we discussed whatever we discussed, these 5 senses, mind, intelligence, with an example. You have the Bhagavad Gita picture?
That's fine.
Bhagavad Gita book?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's here. It's right here.
Yeah.
So you see this 5 senses, and then there are reins to control the horses, right? The 5 horses represent 5 senses. And the reins, the ropes, is the mind. Okay? And Krishna is holding the rope. Krishna represents the intelligence. And Arjuna, sitting on the chariot, represents soul. Yeah.
So there is no false ego in this. Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah, that's a good point.
He has problem with ego. So I want to know more. What is this?
Not tell that
This is the actual picture.
yeah. So again, he will ask whether there's no false ego in this.
Printing mistake.
Printing mistake.
I think ego they don't talk, right? Like
I
False
think
ego, it's false, right? That's why it's not there.
the whole chariot is like a whole-
Not exist. Now, Arjuna thinking that he is the body, it's false ego.
Yes, Arjuna is thinking he is driving a chariot, so that is false ego.
No, he's not thinking he's driving chariot, but he is thinking he is the body. That's why he decided not to fight. That is false ego. So both are there. So Arjuna represents both. False ego before Bhagavad Gita, soul after Bhagavad Gita. Yeah. Satisfied. Happy soul. Okay. One last time. Anything else? Okay. If nothing else, we will conclude the call here. Thank you everyone for joining. Hare Krishna.
Chanting.
Oh yeah, chanting. Yeah, let's do one round of chanting.
oh, you have
We will have
stop the recording.
Yeah, I'll start the recording. Yeah.